Pisces, welcome to your February 2018 single and ready to mingle love reading for people that are unattached, looking for love in their life. But this reading is kind of exploring your end of things, like what your patterns may be, what you can do to heal that, because as I have noted in other videos with this particular spread, is that a lot of times when people are single, they're focusing on their status. Oh my gosh, I'm single. And really, it's not just about that, because you can find somebody, and some people are really good at attracting people to them, but then because of their own unresolved issues, that's where it gets a little bit problematic. And you may even unconsciously push people away because of like a fear of getting close, a fear of getting hurt again. So these are things that have to be really looked at, because it's too easy to complain and say, I can't find the person of my dreams. But it's like you bring yourself to every situation too. So it's on you most of all. You can't blame other people, and you can't blame fate. You know, you have to take responsibility. And I know that a lot of people know this, but it's always good to explore it from that angle, because a lot of times when people are just playing a fortune teller, it's kind of lazy to me, because and unrealistic. I don't think that's how life works. So for what that's worth, I'm trying to do things in a more proactive way, self-empowering way. Okay, so I hope that you can appreciate this different type of reading. Maybe it gives a whole new, food for thought. Let's put it that way. So the first position, and of course I've laid out the cards. I did start over again. And this is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck that I'm using, a new deck of mine. I bought it exactly a week ago. This is the back of it. And this is a special spread. I'll talk about each position. So the barrier, the central barrier that prevents you from attracting love. Now you look at that. When I had not drawn this card yet, and you look at you look at this card. Now, what does it look like to you? It looks like a wilting rose that's kind of like crying with one of the petals, and it's connected to the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles in the other decks, let me see if I can just, because I was doing, yeah, I have it right on top, because I was showing this in a private reading. What is that? This is more, I think, descriptive of what the card represents. You see two people, and they are, one person looks disabled, but they both look like they're impoverished. And behind them is a church with stained glass windows and the Five Pentacles. And Pentacles relate to material resources. And they are completely oblivious to it, because they are, they're so wrapped up in their own misery. Okay, so the Five of Pentacles can be described as poverty consciousness, but it can also be described as lack consciousness in a more general sense. So when people feel like there's not enough to go around, scarcity, feelings of scarcity. And in love, this sometimes can come as people get older. They feel like the statistics are working against them. And maybe if people keep having negative experiences, they just assume that it's never going to happen for them. So there can be different reasons why people feel like their life is not, their love life is doomed. But we have to avoid pessimism at all costs in every area of life. That is one of the traps that sends people into a downward spiral and, permanently mired in this pessimistic attitude. And this is where the law of attraction comes in, and you can find material on YouTube just to kind of pump you up and to get you into a better state of mind. It's not just to, give you a fantasy. I mean, I really feel like what they say is true. I'm not like some kind of obsessive person when it comes to law of attraction whatsoever. I just can't get that involved into any one way of thinking. But just the general principles are enough to kind of let me, at times when I feel like I want to control things, to let go, surrender, and remove resistance, because that allows things to come in much easier. And, like I say, this applies to all areas of life. If you have your own business, especially, this can come into play because you don't have like a steady paycheck. So you're always like, oh my God, am I going to make X amount of money, so-and-so, such and such. That's something that can, get out of control. So you have to always be in this state of mind where you are receiving and that you are not resisting, that you're not trying to control things. And sometimes it's a challenge to do that because, money is such a tangible thing. It's not an abstract concept. And yet in a way it is, because in a way you can, there's no limit to what you can bring into your reality when you have your own business. I mean, theoretically at least. Because think about it, when you work for somebody else, you have a steady paycheck, and it is steady, but you have to ask for a raise if you want more. You can't just, your boss isn't going to just say, maybe once in a while they'll say, you know what, I'm going to give you a raise and you didn't ask for it. But it's not something that can just wildly change from month to month. But there are people who, for whatever reason, they hit on something really good, and what their product took off, their book took off, their movie took off, their song became a smash hit, their video went viral, whatever it is. And so you have to cultivate a sense of positivity. This is the history of where you got to where you are. And this is the Daughter of Cups, which connects to the Page of Cups. And this is a card of... The Page of Cups is actually associated with your sign, Pisces. And it is associated with being a babe in the woods. Pages are associated with children, and cups is like your emotions. So it's a very innocent emotions. But I had somebody the other day say that I was insulting Pisces for some reason. And I'm sure I asked for evidence of that. And I don't think I've gotten an answer yet. But I'm assuming it's because I do say on a regular basis about Pisces. And the gullibility factor, the naivete. All of those things are not insults at all. Actually, it's coming from a good place. It's coming from a belief in the goodness of all people. What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with believing the best in all people. The problem is that not all people have good motives. And you are just as worthy of respect and everything good in life as anybody else. And so as much as you may have sympathy for others, compassion for others, you have to have it for yourself also. And that can be done. You can have sympathy for another person and still realize, I don't think that person is ready for a relationship. I think that they need to quit drinking. I think they need to get a hold of their anger problems. They need anger management. And you can still be non-judgmental and not like, oh, this person is a bad person because of these issues that they have. But you are a natural healer, so your first impulse is to gravitate maybe more to the wounded birds out there. I call it the wounded bird syndrome. And that can lead to disappointment in love, and then thinking, as this Five of Pentacles is, that it's a hopeless cause. How do you heal? Well, this isn't interesting. The Tower card is about flashes of insight. It can be a break from the past. So totally, maybe you need like to radically change your life. If you've lived in the same area all your life, maybe you need to completely plant yourself in a new place. If you have been very roaming around, maybe you've been very nomadic, maybe you need to settle down. Maybe you need to shift something very radically in order to change things up. Because I don't know how many people have heard about this thing about losing your story. And there was a book, kind of like a new agey type of book, and it was like something along that lines. And I picked it up, I think I bought it, and I didn't, because I thought it was such a weird title. I was like, what do you mean my story? And they meant your sob story, your past, your history but all the bad things. It's never like, your story is never like, oh, I have such a great childhood and blah, blah, blah. It's always the bad things. So the Tower card is like breaking free from all of those constraints. It's a real catalyst for change. Typically, with the Tower card, it isn't something that you can choose to do, because it is, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like when you think of an eclipse, where it's faded, it's dealing with the transiting North Node, and I mean, that's what signs the eclipses are in. And so it's kind of like all of us experiencing these changes as a collective. Looking at it astrologically, you do have a lunar eclipse in Aquarius. You had one last summer, and I think you're having another one in late July. I think that's not just a full moon, but an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. And the point being that this is your 12th house, and you rule the 12th house, but the 12th house is like the karmic house. So maybe there's more house cleaning that needs to be done in the by late July, or even after that. You could see the effects a few months after that of the lunar eclipse, kind of clearing things out and kind of rebooting you, so to speak, rebooting your karma. I don't know, but it certainly is an interesting issue. I think that people can do things that are connected to the Tower too, though, like letting go of their story, stop telling everyone the bad things that have happened to you. Radically shift your perspective in whatever way you can do that. You can do it methodically. First you can say, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself. Today, I'm not going to complain at all. There's like a 30-day complaint-free world challenge. I don't know if anybody saw that book. And you put like this little rubber band around you, and you snap it every time that you complain, and then it resets it for another 30 days. And yes, it's a gimmick, but it trains us to see how negative we are and how ungrateful we are. And you can be a good person and still have a lot of negativity because maybe of past conditioning, but also, and past conditioning can be past events that have made you think that life is totally out of your control. So just little tools that you can use to shift into a new paradigm for yourself. Okay, so the next two cards are connected to the what, when, where, why, where you can meet this person, who this person might be. I got the Devil card. Well, you know, the Devil card, it has this negative connotation. It's funny. They have like his feet are on fire. It goes, and he's got like a satanic, you know, but it's funny, that's the Pentacles, you know, so what the heck, you know. But anyway, and another reason it's probably Pentacles is because the Devil's connected to Capricorn, and that's an earth sign, so there you go. But Saturn, Satan, that's what the Devil card. You may meet somebody who is a Capricorn. You know, that's a possibility, and that would be a good sign for you. I think that would be a good combination, because you have a lot of, you know, Pisces people tend to be very creative and spiritual, and Capricorns tend to be very serious and practical, and that you can learn, you know, help each other. Interestingly, another Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. If we look at timing, this could be in the Taurus period, late April, and maybe this is a Taurus individual. The other earth sign besides Capricorn and Taurus is Virgo, and but they're both practical energies. The Devil card is sometimes connected to addictions. So maybe you meet somebody in a bar. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of Pisces people that like bars, not just because alcohol, but also because of the camaraderie and the people. You know, I always think of water signs as people. You know, people who like people. Sometimes they prefer their little circle of friends, but you know, you may just enjoy meeting up with people, and that could be it could be in a place that is considered, you know, a den of sin, but that could be the very place that you meet somebody who turns out to be a life partner. Also, as I said with the Devil card, you know, people are like, get so freaked out about it, but it could just be like someone with Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, and this is enhanced by that Four of Pentacles, somebody who is a practical person who may have a very strong earth element in their natal chart, and then the outcome is the Sun, which is like true love. It's positivity. It's all the things that the Five of Pentacles is not. It's joy, it's healing, health, children, prosperity, you know, success. So this is a great way to end the reading, Pisces, and hopefully that happens for you. I wish you the best. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great February. Take care.